Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Thursday, and all of our guests, including Ray, standing by, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Giants' next home game, Sunday, December 29th, when they take on Kelowna, puck drop 4. The G-Man will be wearing special all-white Stormtrooper jerseys for Star Wars night. Head to VancouverGiants.com to get single-game tickets, flex packs, and more. In the wake of the Canucks' 3-2 overtime loss down in Utah, we're joined now by Ray Ferraro from the NHL on ESPN, Canucks analyst on Sportsnet. Ray, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm a little bit of an easy sked here. Did the game, the Boston game, which was a tough one on Saturday, and then got Ottawa this coming Saturday, and at home, and then off for Christmas, which is awesome, and looking forward to that.
Okay, you say this, and I heard you on the radio yesterday. I believe that's where I heard it. But you're off to Liverpool for the holidays, and I was there in the summer. It's just fabulous. But is this soccer related?
Yeah, it is. We're actually going to Anfield on December 26th on Boxing Day for Leicester City and Liverpool. Our youngest guy, Reese, is 15. He's one of those supporters. They're not fans, as you know. He's a supporter that gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday to watch them play. He often refers to, "We got it right back." He's right in. So we're pretty excited.
Great times we live in. When I was growing up, you're an overseas soccer fan. Good luck. You had to wait for, I don't know, the paper 2 days later or whatever the case.
Never mind that, Donnie. When we were growing up, if you wanted to watch a game, it was Saturday night.
Yeah, that was it. NHL. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, maybe Wednesday. They had a run of Wednesdays. Hey, Ray, the Canucks lose in Utah. Do you have any idea what to expect from the Canucks game to game?
I think a little bit. There seems to be, for some reason, this format or this form to their game where they get outshot early, and then by the end of the night, the shots are pretty much even. You look at the chances they give up are probably more in the front half of the game than the back half, although last night they gave up the 2 goals late. Goals have been a struggle. And so it kind of plays along that format of stay in it early, which they didn't against Boston, and then get their game rolling. And then once it's rolling, they control a lot of the play. They seem like they're in a good run, and a couple of goals or an extra goal here or there would be really useful. And some nights they get them, like they did at home a couple of nights ago. And then, in Utah, it's 2-0. That game should be over at that point. But let's just think, wouldn't a third goal have been nice somewhere? But, they're at 2, so you got to defend that. They didn't, the first goal, Demko played really good for 50 minutes last night. I thought he was great. Awesome. And then the first goal, He never drops that puck. Yeah. He never, that never happens. When a puck hits him in the body, he's one of those guys that seems to be able to collect it. And it's just, plays over. But it falls, it's in the net. I thought the cross-checking penalty was lousy. If you look around, I don't know if you guys were watching one game or many games yesterday. Mason Marchment got cross-checked yesterday and no penalty. And you're like, no wonder the guys don't know what the hell's going on. But if they're going to call it, then Myers has to find a way to go in there without 2 hands on his stick. You have to, at some point, adjust to the inconsistency of it. I thought that, and then the goal was lousy, right? It would deflect it off
Bluger.
I think Bluger's butt. And then the winner in overtime was, I don't know, somehow it got through Demko. And if it goes to shootout, well, then that's a different story. But they get 1 point, but you're left always, it seems, wanting for just just a little bit more? Is it another goal? Is it a little tighter defend? There's something like, it's crazy to have the record they do with so much bubbly water around all the time.
Ray, I believe you answered this question before back in the 1040 days, but I'll ask you again because you just brought the subject up, and we've been talking about it all season long. Poor starts for the Canucks. Whose job is it to get the team motivated? Because a lot of people will say, well, it's the head coach who's got to get these guys ready to go, pumped up, whatever the case may be.
Well, it's the coach's job to make sure they're prepared, that they have what systems the other teams use, how they penalty kill, how they are on the power play, what their neutral zone forecheck. A lot more complicated than when I played, where we didn't know what the hell they were doing anyway, and they didn't know what we were doing. There was no video, right? You just went and figured it out. But so the coach's job is that. It's preparation. It's making sure that guys understand what's asked of them for that night. Then after that, like, I don't know, hire the best speech giver in the world, and the second he's finished, it's still up to the players.
Yep.
Like the players have to play. And a slow start too many times becomes something you become afraid of. Oh, we can't start slow. Well, what if you don't start well? Like, say you're perfectly ready and somebody flips a puck over the glass the first minute of the game. Now you got to kill a penalty, and that great start is gone because you're just kind of hanging on while half the team hasn't even gotten on the ice yet. So the problem, I think, Donnie, so the answer is the players. At the end of the day, it's the players. The coach is wearing a suit. He can only do so much. When you have something that happens repetitively, I think you become fearful of it. Instead of just attacking the game, whatever comes, that's what comes. But right now, it seems like the slow start it's kind of an unsure, like a thinking, a plodding to the game. And then pretty soon they start skating, and you're like, oh my God, that doesn't look like anything compared to the first 10 minutes of the game.
Ray, you were there when Jim Rutherford said we need a couple more players to contend. They're looking for a top 4D for sure. They're out there on the market. Would you do a major shakeup, or would you do tinkering right now, Ray? Like, I mean, when you look at this president saying that, and he loves to make trades, which way would you go?
Well, okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. What does a major trade look like?
Well, you coughing up a first-round pick and prospects.
Contracts. You understand. Yep. Well, yeah, it depends who you're getting back. And that's a cop-out, I'm sure, to a lot of people, except I need to know who the player is coming back. Like, are you getting a number 4 defenseman, or are you getting a number 2 defenseman?
I'll give you a name. I'll give you a name because I think he's very high on the Canucks list, Bowen Byram. What would you make that trade? And you'd have to cough up a lot, though, Ray.
Okay, why would you have to cough up a lot? Because he was the number 4 pick in the draft?
Yeah, well.
Capo Kakko got an unrestricted free agent who's a third pair defenseman. Good guy. I like Borgen. He's a third pair guy, and he got a third rounder and a sixth rounder.
Yes.
So that's what Kakko was.
Right.
How is Byram a first and a roster player and somebody else? Like, how does that happen? Or, you always hear that, a trade sets the market. Well, so then you're looking at an unrestricted free agent, a second and a sixth, or something around that. Right. Here's the other thing. If I'm looking at the Canucks defense, I agree. A mobile puck mover, agility. Yeah, I'm into that. You bet. Another left-handed guy. Is that really what you're looking for?
Right.
Like just because the name's there, it's got to be a fit too. He doesn't play the right side. Does not play the right side, or has not, I should say. Yeah. He's mostly been a left shot guy. So, they traded him for Casey Middlestat, who was in the same boat. Middlestat, I believe, was the 7th round or number 7 pick of his draft, and he had kind of lost his way in Buffalo. Byram had kind of got snowed under there in Colorado. They make that trade. and it's really not worked for either side. Like sometimes the pedigree of the draft has to be forgotten. Even though it's not by the fans, it has to be forgotten because people are drafted as 18 at potential, and then eventually you become in reality. Like, what's Kirby Dach worth?
Right.
He was the number 3 pick in the draft, I think. Right? He's got 2 goals in 20 games. You're not. If I'm calling Montreal and they say, yeah, he was the 3rd pick in the draft, I'd be like, yeah, 2 teams ago. And he there's a lot of reality between the draft and what happened. So for me, I'm cautious about this first round pick that people seem to think should be in every deal. Like, why should it be? Maybe you don't have to go there.
Yeah, that's true. Vegas tonight, they're off to a good start. I think they've won 9 of their last 11, Ray. And they're leading the division by a pretty good number. How impressed are you with Vegas this year?
I like Vegas. You know why I like Vegas, I think, is because they don't give a damn about what everybody else thinks.
Right.
And I like that. We'll go, Buffalo couldn't get Eichel signed. They're like, yeah, our doctor will do this surgery. He's comfortable with it. Eichel met with him. Eichel was comfortable with the doctors. They get a number 1 center, right? In a deal that people felt was really risky. And they're like, yeah, we think we can do that. They made a trade for Aiden Hill. Did anybody jump up and down and go, oh man, what a great deal? They're like, oh yeah, they got Aiden Hill. They've battled through injury. They push the rules right to the letter of the law. They've got a really good coach. They're big and they move. Like, this is a good team. So I was more surprised with their unevenness last year, but they had a lot of people banged up last year, and this year they're far more healthy, and their top line has been exceptional, and they've got a big and pretty mobile defense too.
Ray, we're getting slammed in our Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox when it comes to Pettersson and Miller and the relationship between those 2 players. I don't know how much you know. I don't know how much you can say. But have you been in addressing?
I don't know anything.
Yeah. Have you been?
Sorry, let me interrupt you.
Okay.
People can have a feel or a think, and there was some reported tension there, but how do you even really know unless you're in there? And I don't. I read and I'm like, I can't believe it's a defining factor in how people play. I think you were going to ask me, did I ever play with guys I didn't like? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm sure lots of guys didn't like me either. Right? Like, if you put 24 guys in a locker room you guys, when radio was a thing, you guys worked at big, right?
Yeah.
Like, you guys worked in big stations. Did everybody get along? Not a chance.
You know the guys we worked with, so what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a guy leave a freaking studio once. Like who would do that? Right? Over rubber balls or whatever the argument was about. But so I guess, yes, it's possible. Of course, they could be 180-degree diametrically opposed people. But I still don't think it affects how you play, because I'm not looking on the ice. It's not like, 8-year-old hockey where you go, oh, I don't like Johnny, so I'm going to pass it to Dave. Right? Like, the guy's open, you give him the puck. Like that's what I think anyway. Maybe I'm out to lunch on it. I don't know. I don't see how it can be so divisive that the team can't play. I just don't see it. You know what I think the biggest problem is right now? Go through the top of that lineup and tell me, who are you thinking is scoring tonight?
Yeah.
Pettersson's got 1 in 10. Miller's got 2 in 14. Besser's had nothing, 2 in 12. Suter, I don't even care what Suter gets, because if he's got 0 and 6, so what, man? The guy's had an amazing start. But there's like a core at the top of that lineup. Like, those guys have to score. Garland too. Like, they have to score, or else it doesn't really matter what else is going on. Like, you cannot win if you're like, oh yeah, Kiefer Sherwood's got 11 goals and so did Suter. That is awesome. They're supposed to be depth, not the leaders of your team.
It was poker, not rubber balls, Ray. Just so you know. Yeah.
Actually, when I think of it, bouncing rubber balls is more athletic than poker.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you're on my side.
When I think it through, right?
Hey, safe travels, Liverpool. All the best. Best of the season.
You betcha. I can't wait. Hey, best to you guys too, and to your families, and to everybody that listens. I hope you have a great holiday, and into the new year start unbelievably 2025 well, and we'll talk to you then.
You bet. Thanks, Ray. Appreciate it.